Hi everybody, it's Gary.
And Dain, welcome to the Creative Edge of Consciousness. We have something very cool to talk to you about today.
Very cool and very new.
Very cool and very new, as of this morning, as in just a few minutes ago, as in hot off the press, as in, oh my God, here we go, are you ready?
Okay, so one of the things we discovered this morning is that in order to create limitations and to identify limitations that you pick up from others, you try to equalize things. So what you do is do this thing of trying to make you equals.
And
so it's like
a lot of you have had a sense of, wow, you know what, I could be so happy, except my family isn't. And so your level of happiness wants to be here. You've lived here, or their level of happiness is here, so what you do is you equalize yourself to their level of happiness.
Yeah,
Which,
and you go to their house and you equalize it and become less. And just to make sure that you're not out
Too
of
much.
equalized reality.
How many of you notice when you're going to go visit family, 3 to 4 days or maybe a week ahead of time, you start going, like, why do I feel so like I always do around my family? You know why?
Yeah.
You're doing everything that you can to get back to equalized with them. When you're away from them, you got the space to finally be you.
So we got a couple of new processes for you.
Yes, we do.
What equalization are you using to create the limitation you are choosing?
Everything that is dumb, we destroy it. Oh, just kidding. We destroy it on greater, please.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What equalization are you using to create the body you are choosing?
Ah!
Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it all.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and puck, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds.
What equalization are you using to maintain the pain you are choosing? That can be mental, physical, emotional, or just stupidity. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and puck, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Yeah, there's all kinds of pains that you equalize.
Yeah.
The way this came up was I was talking to Gary and I was like, you know what, I've noticed ever since the time I started doing sessions where I would walk into class, after I'd been out of class for a few weeks or whatever, I'd get this connection with my body where I felt like, cool, I'm like connected to the whole thing. And when I would do sessions progressively, I felt like I got this my six-pack started turning into a party ball and then a keg, is the way it felt energetically. And I'm like,
But he kept calling it a tummy.
I kept calling it a tummy, which is like, I mean, hello, who my age calls it a tummy? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell is that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
know.
Gary, my tummy. Thinking that's kind of weird
so
anyway.
what are you using to create that? And that's where we came up with this equalization,
And
where we
what-
realized that he was trying to equalize other people's tummies.
Well, trying to equalize them out of their limitation.
Yeah.
By trying to go, hey, here's what my body and I know, and here's what my body and I have learned, and here's what we know is possible. Here, come on, let me suck you into equalization, you know? How many of you have done that?
Any of you tried to tried to suck yourself down into other people's equalization to try and suck them out of their stupidity?
Any of you ever get chubby and have a tummy in the process?
Yeah. Everything that is times a godzillion, we just run and create it all.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pod, fuck, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Any of you ever feel really great about you and your body, and then you get around a certain person and you feel that exact same way that you've always felt around them, and you don't know why?
And you assume it's yours? Equalization. Everything that is times a godzillion, we just run and create it all.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and fuck, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Huh? I like everybody in the room is going.
So what equalization are you using to create the insanity you are choosing? Any of you get that you try to equalize other people's insanities in order to understand and live with them? Not a good idea. Everything that is times a good godzillion, we just a good zillion.
A good
godzillion, we just run and create it.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and fuck, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Sounds like a bad zillion to me right now.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. You've ever noticed how when people start looking like their pets? Or the person they're in a relationship with?
Yeah.
Equalization.
Equalization. That's what they're doing.
Isn't that amazing?
You know, so what equalization are you using to create the financial reality you are choosing? Ooh. Nice. Everything that is times a godzillion, we just try to create it all.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pod and fuck, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyond.
Well, you can tell by the audience reaction. Because we don't have cue cards telling them what to do.
Exactly.
But this is apparently a valuable product here, something worth listening to.
Totally organic reaction. That was awesome. That was cool.
So what equalization are you using to create the financial reality you are choosing? it's like it's like years ago we were doing this class, and this guy, we were in Tennessee, and this guy goes, "Well, you can't go above your raisin."
Exactly. That's what we said. We said, "What?" He said, "You can't go above your raisin."
And I'm, visualizing a muffin with a raisin on it.
Don't sit above the table. What,
what are you talking about? And he says, your raisin, your upbringing.
Can't go beyond your upbringing.
Yeah, you can't go beyond your upbringing or your raisin. So, how much equalization are you using to, to limit your raisin? Everything that is. And when I said that in Australia, they go, "Why are you talking about sultanas?"
Shut up. There's nothing to see here. Everything that is. Types against it.
We destroyed and created it all.
Right, wrong, good, and bad, bond, rock, all night, church, boys, and beyond.
So what equalization are you using to, to live with the family you have chosen?
Oh.
Ooh.
Hey, you want to kill the energy in a room? Say the word family 3 times. That's awesome.
Everything that is family, family, family. Everything that is times a Godzillion, we destroyed and created it all.
Right, wrong, good, and bad, bond, buck, all night, church, boys, and beyond.
Okay,
wow.
And what equalization are you using to create the culture you are choosing? Oh, nice, huh? Everything that is times a Godzillion, we destroy and create it all.
Right, wrong, good, and bad, bond, buck, all night, church, boys, and
I
beyond.
love these unsolicited responses.
I know, it's
awesome. It's so cool. Well, there you go, folks. That's it for today, because that's all we can do to you right away.
And Phil. Thanks.
Bye, everybody. See you next time.
Next time.
Welcome to the world. We've been waiting for you.